The Gallows tour. I know I'm making this video and it's technically a little bit late. Like the Kalos tour ended on Sunday and this is like Friday, but this is just how we're doing it. Okay? The Kalos tour happened this past weekend. The weekend before that, I was in LA for the Global Kalos tour. Sorry, the camera was crooked. And honestly, LA was great other than the fact that I was ungodly sick. I caught some sort of cold. It was just a regular cold, but I'm a big baby. And yeah, it was a good time. The Global came around and we played the Global last weekend. I played it mostly from home. I did go out, so I maybe don't have as much of an idea of exactly how the event went down, not like excluding the raids, but I did make two posts. I did make a post on my YouTube, I did make a post on my Twitter, and I collected over like 800, 1,000 comments from you guys on whether you thought the Kalos tour was good or not. Now, obviously, on the internet, we need to keep an eye out that things are negatively biased. Like, I don't think people really go around, like, it's less common. Like, I think this is something that everybody should practice, but it's less common for people to say, like, oh, that was really good, I really enjoyed that, versus when something is bad, they're more likely to speak up about it, right? If your experience is bad, you'll leave a bad review. If your experience is good, you usually just leave happy and kind of like, like you're not going to go out of your way and be like, this is the best experience, unless it was like a insanely positive experience. So obviously the comments I collected may be a little bit more negative, but today, nonetheless, we're going to talk about the Kalos Tour 2026. It's 2026. Wow, that's crazy. We're going to dive deep into it. I'm going to talk about the negatives, why I think, arguably, I will say this, and I think I can say this with a straight face, and I don't think a lot of people will disagree with me, but I do think out of all the tour events we've had, this is clearly probably the worst one. And I'll go through why, in my opinion. Now, it's very important to remember, everything in this video is my opinion. You're allowed to disagree, okay? You're allowed to disagree. If this was the best event you've ever had, amazing. I will say, you are talking to somebody coming from a perspective that I have played every single tour event since the Kanto tour. So I kind of have an understanding, and I fully understand, like, if people are just coming to Pokemon GO and they're playing this event, they're like, well, this event doesn't suck at all. This event is amazing. And you're right, maybe I'm getting into an idea. I'm completely going off topic here. Maybe I'm getting to an idea of, like, privilege and be like, this event isn't as good as the past tours, but it's still a very good event. I fully agree with that. The tour events are still great events, even if they're not as good as the past one. But today we're talking about in comparison. How good is the Kalos tour compared to the past one? Was it a good event? Was it bad? We're going to dive deep into that. So anyway, welcome back to the YAP sessions. If you don't know why you're watching this video, it is because every single Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Pokédaxy, me, you can also call me James. Fun fact, actually, my name is legally James, but middle name is Dax. I don't know why I'm giving out all this info right now, but fun facts for you guys. I just go by Dax. I've gone by Dax since I was a kid, so if you see me in person, call me Dax. But if you call me James in person, I know I'm in trouble. The only time anybody ever calls me James is when my mom is upset at me. She says, James, and Jonathan. JT Gilly calls me James sometimes for the memes. Anyway, I'm super excited. First thing, before we dive too deep into it, I have gone ahead and collected a bunch of quotes from you guys, overall sentiments from you guys. I do want to quickly talk about two things. First of all, if you have any feedback about the Kalos tour after watching this video that I didn't mention, because everything I talked about in this video, I told Niantic. Honestly, whether I mentioned it or not, on my Discord, Pokédaxy, discord.gg/Pokédaxy, there is a channel in there called Pogo Feedback. Any comments that are posted in that channel, I actually every single month take all those comments, bundle them up, and then pass it directly to the Pokemon GO team, to the people who actually make the game. I have contacts, and I pass it to them. So if you have any feedback on the tour event, feel free to drop it in there. I think a lot of feedback that I've seen online, I've already passed it on. So maybe listen to this podcast YAP session first before making your comment. But if there's anything I don't mention that you think is good feedback and constructive criticism, by the way, don't go into the channel and be like, this is the worst tour ever. That really doesn't do anything. Though the feedback I pass on is constructive criticism. If we want to make the tours better, we have to give actionable feedback, being like, this sucked, do this instead of this just sucks, fix it. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't really help them at all. They don't really know like what sucked about it at all. So anyway, final thing before we dive into it. Sorry, a couple just different things. Two things I want to talk about. Number one, you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you're interested. I feel like I just have to mention that because some people think you can only listen on YouTube. I do post these on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to throw this on while you're cleaning the dishes, I don't know, washing your windows. Who's out here washing your windows while you're listening to this? Second thing, the Japan trip has been sold out. I know I've talked about it a lot. Super excited. We actually fully have a group of 20 trainers. They're all locked in. We're all ready. I know we're talking about GoFest. GoFest Japan tickets just dropped, so it's super exciting. If you didn't make this trip and you want to come on a future trip, I did just drop a wait list. You can visit the link below. It's pokedaxi.com/waitlist. Put your email in there. I'm actually going to be dropping the next group trip, which most likely is going to be in November around the wild area event time, so people can go to the in-person wild area in Japan. That will most likely be dropping hopefully soon, but I'm going to drop it to the wait list a week before. So if you're interested in coming on one of the Japan group tours or even other group tours that we might end up doing to other countries in the future, join the wait list. Okay, that's it. Let's talk about the tour, whether it's good or not. So first thing I want to talk about, the good. What did I think the Kalos tour did good? Because I think people, we can obviously get into this idea that Pokédaxi is just like, not even just me, but like maybe most YouTubers are just like, everything sucks about this event isn't good, all that stuff. I do think it's very important for us to give praise where praise is needed. And I'm not doing this because I'm I guess you don't say Niantic bootlicker now, Scopely bootlicker. I think a lot of people are like, anytime you ever say anything good about an event or say this is good, they did this, this is nice, it's instantly just turned into like, oh, you're paid by Niantic. Why would you say that if you're paid? This is just my opinion. I do think that the Kalos tour did some good things. If the Kalos tour was the worst event ever, I would not have even touched it. I would not have even played it. I do think there was some good stuff. So let's talk about what is good, and then I want to dive into the bad, and then we're going to dive into what you guys have to say about it, what you guys thought, because I did collect some tweets. So first of all, number one thing, unlimited remote raids. Now, this is a weird one. Obviously, unlimited remote raids, I think, is a good thing. If you've been playing Pokemon GO for a long time, it's a bit bittersweet because it's like we used to just have this permanently and remote raids were cheaper. But I do think it's a good thing anytime remote raids become unlimited just because of the fact that there's no longer restrictions and no matter where you are in the world, you have access to this event. Now, yes, remote raid passes are absurdly priced, but I think it is a clear positive that you can do more than 30 remote raids or more than 10 remote raids right now is what it's changed to. It's a clear positive. Parents who, have the weekend and they have to take care of their kids, people who are working, all this stuff, who can't get access to the Kalos tour, at the very least, because they unlock unlimited remote raids, it allows these people to play. Yes, I fully agree. I'm not sitting here and saying that remote raids are cheap and are a good value. I also will talk about this right now, but the new super mega raids take a remote raid and link charges, which is kind of absurd in my opinion, but that will be something to talk about in the bad. But overall, I do think unlimited remote raids is just an overall positive. I don't think anyone can really argue that that's a bad thing. I think it's great when they unlock unlimited remote raids. Obviously, I wish it was all the time, but we're going to take the win when we get the win. Number 2, Mega Evolve bonus for more Mega Points. So if you don't know, I don't even know if I talked about this in my video. Maybe I should have. I don't think it was like announced until the video went out. But you could actually Mega Evolve. This was mainly during the Road to Kalos event, but it was also on the weekend. You could Mega Evolve your Pokemon each day, and you would get 6 Mega Points each time you Mega Evolve it that day. So 6 Mega Points, I believe, translates to 6 days of individually Mega Evolving your Pokemon. So pretty much every day you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, it would actually jump up 6 days instead of 1. And it takes 30 days to get to the max level, and then you have to pay a big fee to get to the super max level. But I think that was a really cool change, especially around the Kalos tour, where you could get, I think a lot of people were able to get max level Megas just this past week by just Mega Evolving a Pokemon every single day. I was able to do it with this was more during the LA tour where I believe there was no cap on how many times you could do it a day, but I was able to Mega Evolve my Mega Victory Bell all the way to max level by just Mega Evolving it back and forth over and over again until it was max level. And then I could have taken it to Super Max, but I just didn't do Super Mega Raids because I just thought they were, I don't know, we'll talk about that after. So I thought that was great. I thought if you experience that bonus, I think that was really, really cool that you could just level up your megas by just mega evolving them back and forth. Or not mega evolving them back and forth, but every single day you would get more than normal. I think that was a great change. 3, link charges. I think link charges are great. I think a lot of people are... I think there's 2 ways to look at link charges. Number 1, yes, it's the fact that, okay, we're getting a new currency in Pokemon Go. It's super complicated. You need these link charges to do this thing and all that. And it's like sometimes less is more. But I do think link charges is a positive where it's like more is more. Because the fact that link charges now are pretty much just free mega raids. Like think about Pokemon Go before link charges. You could either use your free raid pass on a regular raid or a mega raid every single day. Now, in the world with link charges, you can use your raid pass on a legendary raid, and then you can also use link charges on a mega raid. And we've pretty much just been gifted, because I do believe, I don't know how many you get from opening gifts, but I believe from weekly challenges you get 600 link charges, which is 4 mega raids. It's 150 each. Plus community ambassador community ambassador meetups, and then opening gifts. Like, we've pretty much been given access, at least in terms of weekly challenges, to like 4 free mega raids every single week. I don't really know how you can complain about that. I think that's a pro. I think that's a good thing, especially for free-to-play players who, had to choose between using your raid pass on a mega or not before. Now you just use your link charges. Now, granted, I have 3,000 link charges in my storage because I just don't really do mega raids. And also, when I was remote raiding all my mega Pokemon, you can only use a remote raid pass. And I didn't really remote raid any super mega raids. So, like, I have a bunch I have to use, but overall, like, I think it's a good thing that you can use link charges on mega raids. In-person ones, at least. Quick rotating raids. I think it was amazing. Every 30 minutes, the raid boss changed. So, like, it was not like you could... Like, if you were in a rural area, I don't think you had problems where you wouldn't be able to find... there would be a... Not you wouldn't be able to find, but there wouldn't be a section where the raid boss you want is not spawning, if that makes sense. No, let me repeat that. There wouldn't be a section where there's no raids, pretty much. Because I think, like, in the past, we've had times when, like, the raid boss rotates every hour, and you have 3 gyms in your area. You can do those 3 raids in, like, 30 minutes. You know what I mean? And then you're, like, 30 minutes without raids. With them rotating every 30 minutes, I think gives you ample time for rural players to, like, do the raids in their local area, and then they reset, and you can kind of keep a good chain going if you want to do a bunch of raids. So I think the refreshing raids was great, especially because there was, like, no cooldown, or practically no cooldown, where, like, the raid would expire and then 2 minutes later the next one would appear. We had it a lot in LA where there was like a 5-minute cooldown, and same with raid hour too. And that 5-minute cooldown is just kind of like random. Like, why is it there at all? Like, the raids should pretty much run for 30 minutes and then just refresh instantly. So it's a bit annoying, but anyway, maybe it's because they have like they probably have some weird back end thing going down. The regionals and 10-kilometer eggs, I think, is always great. Regional Pokemon are normally region locked. The fact that you even have access to them in 10-kilometer eggs is amazing. It could be really cool as well if, like, they added regionals to, like, routes during the event. Like, I think that would be interesting, because if you don't know, regionals are boosted off of routes. So, like, there's a higher chance you find a regional Pokemon off a route. So I think that could be cool. But, like, regionals and 10K eggs is cool. 6 special trades every single day. I think we give that a double thumbs up. Could you even make it more special trades? I don't know. I saw some arguments about during the in-person events, since so many people are traveling to these events that you most likely don't see all year until these events. 6 special trades is, like, not enough, and we should get 10 at the in-person events. But I don't know, for the global events, I feel like in your local area, like, because you're going to be playing in your local area, these people you most likely play Pokemon Go with pretty consistently. I think giving access to 6 special trades should be enough to get all your special trades done. Unless you have a huge local community and you're lucky friends with like 20, 25 people. I guess the best way to put this is, like, overall, more special trades will always be better. But for now, I think 6 is good. Well, I think, for now, I think 6 is good. More so, like, 6 thumbs up. It's a good thing, okay? It's a good part of the event. Post-day raids, same as the week before. Okay, for a second I was like, what did I just write here? No, okay, what I mean by this is, so pretty much after, if you don't remember, after the raid, after the event, and this is actually a funny thing about the Kalos tour, is I think the rating was actually better. Obviously during the Road to Kalos tour, the rating was better, but I actually think the rating was better after the event ended. So if you don't know, the event was 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And at 6 p.m. until, I believe, 8:30, maybe 9 p.m., I forget when raids expire, we had every single raid boss that appeared during the Road to Kalos event appearing. And I think that arguably that might have been one of the best times ever to raid in Pokemon Go, because you could get Palkia, you could get Dialga, you could get Kyurem, you could get Zekrom, Reshiram, you could get Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon. Like, the rating was insane. So I think overall that bonus was great for people. I will say, I feel like it's like weird that we had that after the event. Like, people played the event for 8 hours and then now they have to stay out for even longer and like play and raid. Like, it would have been cool maybe if like, well, I don't really know how they could have done it. Overall, I think it's a good thing, because if you wanted to play it, you could play it and the option is there. And I guess a lot of people were able to raid during the Road to Kalos. I guess the point of that was like, hey, if you didn't get to play during the Road to Kalos event because you were working, here's like 3 hours to raid every raid boss from the past week. I don't know. I thought it was a cool little change they made. I don't know if it was to try to replicate like what we had in LA called like the Mega Night event, where like every Mega Pokemon appeared. But it is what it is. Anyway, I thought that was cool. Field research for Unknown, rotating each hour, I think was great. I don't think we've actually ever had this for a Kalos, for a tour event where you could actually get Unknown from research tasks. Normally, to get Unknown, you just kind of had to be lucky and get it off Incense, and it made it so like, you know, not a lot of people were really getting Unknown. Also, I believe Unknown was for free this event. Usually Unknown is locked to ticket holders, but I believe anyone could run an Incense during this event and get Unknown spawns. So that was really cool. But overall, I think the fact that you could get Unknown encounters from field research made it a very viable way to shiny hunt Unknown. And I think that was really cool. Also, research tasks rotated every hour, which means if you're in a rural area and you don't have access to a lot of, you know, research tasks and Pokestops specifically, every hour they would refresh. So that's a great thing. That means you get like 8 batches, because there's 8 hours in the day of research, like especially for rural players. I think that's a game changer, instead of just like, you know, grinding field research and then within the first like hour you've completed all the field research tasks in your area and you're just kind of stuck. So I think that was a great change. The Furfrou form changing. Now, to be honest, I'm going to be honest right now. Again, I more remote rated this event. I drove around a little bit doing errands and catching Pokemon, but I already played the event in LA, so I wasn't too bothered on going out. I was also still kind of sick, and I wasn't feeling the best on Saturday and Sunday during this week. So honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to make an excuse on why I didn't play. The point is I didn't play, so I can't really speak on how the Furfrou form changing worked. But what I will say overall is I do think it's a good thing that you were able to form change your Furfrous into ones that weren't from your area. Now, somebody in the comments can describe to me exactly how it worked. I could probably look into it as well. But from what I understand, you were able to, at the very least, get one form of Furfrou that you weren't able to get normally. From what I understand, I was looking at it and there was like 6 pages of research. And each page you had to form change your Furfrou and you got a Furfrou encounter. I don't really know if you were able to get, I'm pretty sure you were able to form change 6 different patterns. Anyway, point is, I think that was a good feature, okay? I don't think a lot of people are going to argue. I think the fact that you can form change your Furfrous into forms that you wouldn't normally be able to get is a positive. Legacy moves. Actually, this is big. This is big. So I was looking on Leak Duck, and I talked about this when I was in LA as well, but you could literally get legacy moves on so many Pokemon during the Kalos tour. All the Kalos Pokemon that have had community days were able to get legacy moves. All the raid bosses, Xerneas got Geomancy, the Yveltal got Oblivion Wing. All the Mega Pokemon also came with legacy moves. If you caught a Lucario, it had Force Palm. If you caught a Absol, it had Brutal Swing. Like, I think overall, I don't know if I talked about it enough. I did talk about it in my video, so it's not like I didn't talk about it, but there were so many different legacy moves and Pokemon you could evolve into their final forms to get legacy moves it was a game changer. I think that was a huge pro. I think I love when they do this. I think it gets drowned out a little bit by like the fact that there's just so much going on during events like these. But the amount of legacy moves you could get was huge. Also, the Latios and Latios snapshots. I know we've had that in the past. I don't know if it was snapshots, actually. Maybe it was just like wild, random. I think they were just roaming wild randomly. But the fact that you get a Latios and a Latios encounter off of a snapshot, really cool. Now, again, I think one thing about the tour events that I really loved, and I do hope they bring back, and actually is happening in Pokemon Go right now, but is wild legendaries. Like, I think that adds so much excitement. I think that's why I enjoyed the Kanto Tour, the Hoenn Tour, the Kanto Tour, the Johto Tour, and the Hoenn Tour, because the fact that you could encounter wild legendaries. I thought that was so sick. I remember I caught a wild, like, almost level 1 shiny Raikou, and it was, like, one of the most exciting moments of my life. So, okay, wait. Slow down, Dax. Exciting moments of your life? What are you saying? This is a video game. It was an exciting moment. Maybe not the most exciting moment of my life, but I do hope they bring back wild roaming legendaries, but I will still give credit where credit is due. At the very least, you can still get a wild Latios and Latios encounter. And the fact that they are in snapshots is great because you can guarantee them. Like, I think the thing with the wild roaming legendaries is not everyone will be able to, like, access that feature because you kind of need to be lucky. You kind of need to have, you know, maybe incense, maybe a good spawn points around where you live and all that. So, like, you know, like, for example, the event right now, like, all the legendaries are spawning in the wild. I haven't played the event. It is currently, like, Wednesday, so the event doesn't start till Friday, I believe, which I actually probably will be playing that event because it's going to be very interesting. But the event doesn't start till Friday. What I'm trying to say right now, what am I trying to say right now? What I'm trying to say is that not everyone will get access to this event coming up because they're not going to get lucky or they're not going to have enough spawn points to find wild legendaries, and maybe the spawn rates are going to be really low. So, like, overall, I do think that the fact that they're on snapshots is an overall positive. Finally, the backgrounds. I think the backgrounds are always cool. We had the X and the Y background and the Mega background. I think those are all cool. I will say, I think the X and the Y background were cool. I don't really know if it's just me, but I feel like the Mega background was just kind of bunsy a little. Like, I don't know. It was cool, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. But overall, the backgrounds are cool, and I think the more backgrounds we get is always a good thing. I think I'm always just comparing, like, the thing about backgrounds is we always have, like, IRL in-person backgrounds, which I think those really take the cake because those are just, like, the coolest, right? They have, like, well, some of them are kind of buns, but, like, they kind of, I don't know, buns is my new word. But yeah, like, I think backgrounds, I think people like them. I think people like backgrounds. So that is everything good during the Kalos tour that I thought was positive. If there's anything you thought was good that I didn't mention, put it in the comment section below. Now let's jump into the bad. But first, I need some agua. Okay. Actually, by the way, before I start this, before we continue, I do have to show you. This is actually the first time the YAP session's on the move. We got a new... I actually wonder if people notice in the YAP sessions when the stuff in the background changed, but my girlfriend got me the Noah Khan Stick Season vinyl. Let me know in the comments if you notice when the vinyls in the back change, which is exciting. Also, before we jump into the bad, actually, big news. I didn't talk about this, but I'm officially moving out of this place, actually. Like, September 2024, we moved in here with my roommate, Lewis, who I've been childhood friends with. He's moving in with his girlfriend. I'm moving back in at home with Pokemama for a little bit, and then we're doing the Japan trip. We're actually going to be in Japan for a month and a half, doing Go Fest, doing the group trip, and then also traveling with my friend Casual Coops. And then when I come back, exciting news. I actually haven't announced this to anybody, but I'm actually going to be trying. I'm going to say trying right now because obviously a lot of things need to kind of fall, but we're going to be trying to move to Vancouver. So any of y'all Pokemon Go players who live in Vancouver, Pokédaxi is coming to your city, most likely. Now, again, I'm saying most likely because Vancouver's expensive. You need to find a place to stay. I need to, there's a lot of logistics to figure out, but the goal and what I want to do is move to Vancouver. So most likely by the end of this year, if all goes well, I will be living in Vancouver, which means a new YAP session setup, a new studio, a lot of exciting things happening. My plan right now, actually, and this is something that you guys can expect most likely, is going to be to drive from Ottawa across Canada, across the country, to Vancouver. And I'm thinking of making like some sort of road trip vlog series where I do like 7 days driving across the country playing Pokemon Go. So that'll be very fun. That'll be very exciting. But yeah, actually, I don't even know why I forgot to mention this at the start of the YAP session, but that is something that's happening. I'm excited. So the YAP session's still going to be in this studio. Maybe we'll actually head back outside for the rest of this month, because it is getting warmer outside. It's like 5 degrees. It's like 3 degrees right now, so it is nice. I don't know if it's like YAP session worthy yet, but most likely we'll get some yaps outside. But just, I guess the best word is like appreciate this, because this setup is changing most likely soon. Maybe I'll actually get like a podcast studio for these YAP sessions. Anyway, let's dive into the bad, okay? Let's positive things for my life, negative things for the Go Tour. Let's talk about it. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about, and this is just a pet peeve of mine, and if you guys disagree, that's fine, but the new Super Mega Raids, in my opinion, are just not that exciting. I think for the tour events the past 3, 4, 5 years, we had, the Kanto Tour was just a new event, so everyone was excited. Mewtwo was in raids though, so everyone was hyped about that. The next tour, we had Apex Shadow Ho, Apex Shadow Lugia. That was super exciting and new. Then we had the Primals. And then after that, we had Adventure Effects with Palkia and Dialga. And then we had even more Adventure Effects and fusions with White and Black Kyurem. And then this year, the Kalos Tour, it just kind of like ran flat. Like the new Super Mega Raids are just Mega Raids, but you get more Mega Energy, and they're a little bit different to battle, but it's not like anything is new. The new part of it is like how you defeat it. I think people want new things you're getting. Like, we're not getting anything new. I guess like the new things we're getting are the 2 new Megas you can get, but it's like Adventure Effects is a whole new feature that you can take advantage of. Super Mega Raids is more just a whole new challenge. Like, it's nothing new that benefits us. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's like they added something saying like, this is now harder to defeat, but you get nothing really different. Now, obviously you get a bit more Mega Energy, and there is a little bit different, but like overall, like, so I'm not a huge fan of that. I think it's lazy. I think that the newest part of it and the newest benefit for us is the Super Max level, which you could pay 5,000 Mega Energy to take your Megas to. Now, I did some research. The bonuses for a Super Max level, instead of 0.25 times chance or increased chance of getting a Candy XL when catching Pokemon of the same type, jumps to 0.3. So we go from 25% to 30% by paying 5,000 Mega Energy. Okay, cool. You'll also get plus 4 candies instead of plus 3 candies when catching a Pokemon that share the same type as your Mega. You'll also still get, I believe, 200 extra catch XP for catching a Pokemon that shares a type with the Mega. And I tested this morning, actually. The only Super Mega Pokemon I have is a Dragonite, because I just did so many raids for it. And I caught a Dodrio, the flying bird one, which I believe is a flying type. I believe it's a flying type. Where is it? Yes, it's a flying type. And Dragonite's a flying type. And I got 200 more XP for catching that Pokemon. 200! The best part of it, there's 2 more bonuses. Number 1, you can Mega Evolve it every 24 hours. I guess that's cool, but also with the 5,000 Mega Energy you just spent on leveling it up, you could have just saved that 5,000 Mega Energy and just Mega Evolve it anytime you want. Like, you know what I mean? And then finally, the best part is that you get a CP boost. So from what I understand is that your Pokemon, when you Mega Evolve it, will jump to level 52. okay? We'll jump to level 52. We can actually test this right now, okay? So my Dragonite, which I have, is currently at 5,583 CP. So I'm going to use AI because I'm lazy, and AI actually can do this because I did this calculation earlier. 5,000 CP, Mega Dragonite in Pokemon GO is what level? What level is that? 5,583 CP is what level? I should also tell it's the hundo. Maybe it's not as good as I thought. Yeah, 5,583. So yeah, so the max CP for a Mega Dragonite level 50 is 5,452. If your Mega Dragonite shows 5,583, that corresponds to about level 52. So pretty much, when you Mega Evolve a Super Max level, it instantly will jump up 2 levels. Now, something that's interesting, though, is... I'm actually going to screen record so you guys can see this, but something that's interesting here is if I actually make the Mega Dragonite my buddy at 5,583 CP, does its CP increase? Because a best buddied Pokemon should theoretically be 1 level higher. So let's see here. Okay, so yeah, so 5,609 and 49. So pretty much a Super Max level Mega that's best buddied is going to be at level 53, which is going to be higher than it normally could be. So the Mega Dragonite here, this is a level 53 Mega Dragonite, which is honestly pretty big. That's a pretty high level Mega Dragonite. It's also important to note that actually during the event, you could actually Mega Evolve a Pokemon and it would actually boost up 5 levels. So I actually did this with Rayquaza, and I did the math, and my Mega Rayquaza was at 6,840 CP, almost 7,000 CP, which I believe would be the first time we'd ever have a 7,000 CP Pokemon. Because I do believe this bonus did not apply to primals, since primals are not megas. But pretty much that was the new highest CP you could ever get because my Mega Rayquaza had jumped to level 65. Now that was a temporary bonus only for the Kalos tour this weekend. But the permanent bonus here is that Super Mega Pokemon will be 2 levels higher than normal. So I think that is a good thing. But I do think that the other bonuses, like I pretty much think that Super Max level is just lazy content, and I believe that there just needs to be more for it to be worth it. There just needs to be more for it to be worth it. Like you're just taking what a max level Mega was, and you're just saying like, oh yeah, now the bonuses are a bit better, but the price you pay is way more. Like I do not think you spend 5,000, you do not need to spend 5,000 Mega Energy to take a Mega from base level to max level. You could arguably do that for free. I think it's like you have to Mega Evolve it the first time, and then it's just time. Now, like, I guess the best way to put it is like, let's say we looked at a chart. I'm completely rambling about this, but let's say we looked at a chart and you see a correlation of Mega Energy to Mega Level. The Mega Energy you spend by Mega Evolving even a Pokemon back and forth every single day, the gradual line to hit max level would not be much. And then to hit Super Max, boom, you would see that exponentially spike because you need to spend 5,000 flat energy. And the value in which you are getting out of that Mega Energy, I guess the best way to put it is the value you get out of spending 5,000 Mega Energy to take it to Super Max level just does not relate. Just does not relate, in my opinion. So I'm not a fan of it. I also think that the battles, the Super Max battles that everybody was doing, feedback I saw, I didn't do that many of them. I did them in LA, and it was easy to take them in LA because everyone's playing. But like, the fact that people were able to take on Mega Dragonite and not have a Mega active or put their Mega Pokemon in the first slot and then their Mega dies and they couldn't break shields, like, I feel like you should not be able to even enter the lobby of a Super Mega Raid unless you have a Mega active. And I know that the game automatically puts your Mega in the last slot, which is smart, but I believe there should be more tips and tricks telling trainers on screen being like, hey, save your Mega Pokemon for when it gets enraged and only bring it in then. I also feel like maybe, I don't know, I just heard a lot of stories of people being like, I did this super mega raid and people just weren't breaking their shields. They weren't pulling their weight. And it's just super frustrating. I just feel like there should be overall like more like coverage and like limits on it. Because if you're going to force us to have to break 8 shields to even take on a super mega raid, make it so that it's not even possible. Because I think people are wasting their passes and losing because they're entering the battle without a mega or their mega is like not healed. It's annoying. I also think, honestly, I think this is my biggest criteria, or not criteria, my biggest gripe. I don't know. Super mega raids are probably a pretty big gripe for me, but another huge gripe, looking back at the past 5 years of Pokemon GO tour events, there's always been a standout hunt, a standout thing to be like, this is the chase. This is what you need to go after. And I think they've done a really good job of making that thing exciting, making the reason to go after that thing like worth it, you know? Last year, the Curums, the Fusions, super, super strong Pokemon, right? They're like literally the #1 ice type attackers. They have pretty broken adventure effects. They're good in the Master League. The year before that, Palkia Dialga. Palkia is still one of the best PvP Pokemon. These Pokemon are amazing adventure effects. Like Spatial Rend, Roar of Time, busted. The Primals, the 2 highest CP Pokemon in Pokemon GO, which boost 3 types. Like every year, there's been something that's been like, that is a hunt. I guess like maybe like Mewtwo in the Kanto Tour the first year was huge. Maybe the Johto Tour didn't have like a crazy hunt because it was just kind of like the Johto raid bosses. But even then, like we had wild legendaries at that point. So like, I just don't think that they did a good enough job to make something be like, this is what you want to hunt. I think that they hoped that Mega Dragonite, enough people would be like, this is so cool. I like Mega Dragonite is the best thing to hunt. But Mega Dragonite is literally not even that good of a Dragon type raid attacker. It's not even that good as a Flying type raid attacker. And you can't even use it in the Master League. You can't even use it in PvP. And it only boosts 2 types of Pokemon. I'm sorry, I'm starting to actually get frustrated. But like, I do not think that Mega Dragonite is enough to be like, this is the reason you play the tour. Now maybe the reason like, what they wanted to do this year is instead of having like one major hunt being like, well, you can get every Mega. You know, the reason you play this event is because it's like a quantity over quality thing. They're like, we're bringing back every Mega Pokemon. That's why you want to play this event. But I think that it's just more exciting when it's like, okay, yes, give us a lot, but give us one thing that's like, this is the prize. You know what I mean? Like leading up to the tour event, I was making videos, everyone was making videos, and we were like, there's no way the Kalos tour is going to be this bad. They're holding out. They're going to announce Mega Mewtwo, or they're going to announce Mega Zygarde. Like, they've got to announce something, right? There's no way that they don't announce something. And they didn't. Well, I guess they announced Mega Dragonite. And I just don't think it landed as well as people thought, and I think that it even showed in their ticket sales for the Kalos Tour LA. I do believe that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the past 2 years have been sold out. But I don't think they sold out this year. Don't quote me. Maybe I'm just talking out my butt right now. But I know that going into the event, Saturday and Sunday were not sold out. Friday and Sunday were not sold out. Saturday always gets sold out, but like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know the numbers, so maybe I can't talk about it, but that's just my opinion. The shiny rate was also abysmal during the global event, I will say. I did 115 raids, and I got 1 shiny Pokemon. Now, I did some mega raids, and those usually have 1 in 64 shiny rates, but I really thought that for this event, they would boost all mega Pokemon to a 1 in 20 shiny rates. And I also did a good amount of raids for Yveltal, because I was trying to get a Hundo Yveltal. I'm actually at like 300 encounters for Yveltal without a Hundo. And yeah, I didn't get any shinies. So I got 1 shiny. The only shiny I got during the event was actually, funny enough, it was a Dialga with the background during the bonus hours after the Kalos Tour. So I actually didn't even get a shiny during the Kalos Tour itself, doing 100 raids. I think the shiny rate was abysmal. I can't speak on the wild spawns too much, but I feel like it's pretty bad. Actually, look at my tweet here right now. I tweeted, and Beeman Rai, who is a mathematical man in the Pokemon GO community, said, assuming the shiny rate of 1 in 20, getting fewer than 2 shinies in 108 raids has a 2.63 chance. So I had a 2% chance. I hit my 2% chance. Good. Anyway, At the end of the day, the shiny rate might have been good. It might have been bad. My experience, it was bad. But at the end of the day, I do have to keep an open mind. Like, this is how RNG works. I can go 1,000 raids and not get a shiny. And yes, I'm unlucky, but it's not like it's impossible. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of how RNG and shiny rates work. There's nothing guaranteed. So I'll accept it, but I don't know. I guess I just expected more. All the content, another bad thing, all the good content was kind of locked behind raids. I feel like this event was arguably one of the most raid-focused events we've ever had. Now, I do think it was offset by the fact that we did get link charges. The fact that link charges were added to the game. Did kind of offset this in the fact that you could do some mega raids for free, which was nice. But for free-to-play players, I can't imagine how this event went. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it would have been pretty brutal to go ahead and have to deal with the fact that there was no, actually, and this perfectly goes into my second point, but there was no free raid passes for ticket holders. The only raid passes you could get for free was from community ambassador meetups, and if you were ranked 75 on the February Go Pass, you would get two raid passes every single day. So those were the only bonuses you could get for free, which meant like in the weekend you could do like 6 raids for free. Like, I don't know. Overall, most of the content was locked behind raids. I do think there was still some good content that was not locked behind raids, and maybe there really isn't a solution to this. But I guess like the best solution is being like, okay, this event is raid heavy. Let's give 6 free raid passes every single day. Funny enough, I actually made the mistake because I thought going into this event with the amount of raids that there were, I mentioned in my tips and tricks or my event details video that you would get 6 free raid passes a day. A little bit of an oversight on my part. I messed up on that. But I was just like, there's so many raids going down in this event. There's no way they're not giving us free raid passes, right? Or at least if you buy the ticket, getting free raid passes. I guess not. Final thing I'll say, and maybe this is just a bit of a unfair gripe, but I feel like we kind of lost sight of the Kalos region. The spawns got really flooded with base form mega Pokemon. The Kalos region is a small generation. I fully agree. That has 72 Pokemon only. It's the smallest generation of all the Pokemon. But I feel like this whole, and obviously the Kalos region introduced Mega Pokemon, and this whole event was for Mega Pokemon. But I feel like, as far as the spawn pool goes, I feel like we didn't really need to flood it with like base Charmanders and Squirtles and all this stuff that is not from the Kalos region. Yes, they evolve into Pokemon that Mega Evolve, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that. I feel like it would have been cool if instead of, I don't know, sharing the spotlight with these base form Pokemon, the spawns were all about Kalos Pokemon, and it was only Kaloses in the wild, which it wasn't. Like, I caught a shiny Mudkip. One of the only wild shinies I got during this event was a shiny Mudkip, which is not a Kalos Pokemon. And yes, it has a Mega Form and Mega Swampert in its final stage, but it's not a Kalos Pokemon. So, I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Maybe it's fine. Maybe you guys didn't mind, but I feel like the tour events are about celebrating a certain generation. And yes, I think it's fine to put the Mega Pokemon in the Mega Raids, but I feel like the spawns, like we should celebrate the Kalos base form Pokemon. I don't know. It's a little bit of a gripe. It's a little bit of a maybe pet peeve, nitpick thing, but it's fine. Anyway, those are my pros. Those are my cons. But you guys had stuff that you said. So I need some water. So you guys had some comments you made. I collected over 800 to like 1,000 comments. There's probably more now. I haven't gone back in. And it was actually great. Before, this is maybe just me finding a random use of AI. I've been trying to like stay off AI because I feel like you get lazy when you use AI, but I feel like this is a good use. It actually is really good at copy pasting my whole comment section and being like, pull out the most notable comments with constructive feedback. Because I think a lot of people go into my comment section and they're like, this event sucks. And then I'm like, okay, well, how do I tell Niantic or Scopely or the Pokemon Go team that this event sucks? Versus somebody who goes in and writes a paragraph being like, I didn't like this, they could do this better, they could do this better. That's like actionable feedback. So I've done that a little bit. I've gone ahead and kind of pulled out some feedback from you guys and your thoughts on it. So let's talk about it. Okay, Pokey999FN said better than the Univator. So he actually thought it was better than the Univator. So maybe I'm not tripping. Jordan Gutierrez said, yes, hella fun. Otter Plays YouTube said 7 out of 10. That's a pretty good rating for the Kalos Tour. Otter Plays seemed to like the Kalos Tour. May1101 said, got a shiny Halucha and a Honedge. Free to play, very happy. Wow. Free to play, got a shiny Halucha and a Honedge. That's actually cooking. Good job. Hunijin0812 enjoyed my Shundo Xerneas with the background and more goodies. Okay. So a lot of people are just kind of flexing. Rubik said, felt like the old days again. The mad dash to catch them all. Okay, well, that's a good time. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Taking Back Benaya said, enjoyed it, not because of the spawns or the shinies, but the group and I play and the memories we made along the way. Ray said, I freaking loved it. Jeremy Nelson said, all in all, yes, I liked the event. JQ Productions said, for me, I would say it was great. Was able to get 28 shinies in 2 days. G3 Edit said, I got 67 shinies. So I can't say I didn't like it. Is that a 6-7 joke, though? So yeah, overall, that was a lot of positive comments, and I think it's very important when I'm making videos like this to also address the positive, right? Like, I might have my opinion on what the event was and my experience with the event. A lot of you guys have different experiences, and maybe your experiences are arguably more valid than mine, because mine, I didn't really go out and probably play the event as much as you guys. So I'm really happy that I did this. Overall, it seems like the people who had the most positive experiences are people who played in groups, who had really good shiny luck and got really good stuff, and then also newer players. I think that when you're a new player coming to Pokemon Go, I think you're arguably just going to have a positive experience because you just don't really have much to relate to, and these global events are just way better than day-to-day gameplay. So it's like, you know, if I'm going and my first event, like, even if I started playing Pokemon Go and my first event I ever played was, I don't know if you remember these, like, there was like these team leader events that were like, I think arguably some of the worst events they've ever had, but it was like pretty much just like a couple random weird spawns, and then there was a research where you could get like one encounter with a costume Pokemon. If that was the first event I ever played, I would have been like, this is great. I'm having a good time. I'm filling my Pokedex, catching things I've never caught before. So I think that like naturally there's going to be people who are coming in new to Pokemon Go and playing it and are going to enjoy it. But I also think it's important to note that like there was a lot of good things about the event. And even in here seeing it, like people said they got the background, which was cool. Shiny Halucha, filling their Pokedex, good shiny rates, all that stuff, playing with their friends. So it was good. Now let's talk about the negative comments. Twitter here was especially blunt. I think a lot of people, I Am Crazy said waste of money. JR USA said no, it sucked. Okay. 90 Psycho Kid said hell no. I asked if the event was good. He said hell no. Let's look at more. Mango Float said it's frustrating when you want specific megas and 5 Pikachu spawn for the entire hour instead. So this is actually negative feedback I didn't talk about, but people I saw a lot had the frustration where there was a specific raid boss you wanted, but the pool of raids was so spread, I guess you could say, that it was kind of hard to find the raid boss you wanted. I experienced this as well. There was 1 hour where I was trying to do the Mega Lucario raids, and Super Mega raids, and Xerneas and Yveltal kept popping up, when really all I wanted to do was Lucario. So it was kind of hard to find the raid boss you wanted. I hate it that they don't up the free raid pass limit, says it's Sky0710. Agreed, we talked about this. I don't know why they didn't do that. Failing raids due to idiots not using megas is the most infuriating thing ever, said I Am Bowie. So again, we talked about this, like the fact that you could even enter a super mega raid without a mega, bit annoying. Jarkith Jenkins. I lost at least 5 or more raid passes due to trainers not using a mega and the game turning off mid-raid. So again, same thing, losing raid passes because we couldn't beat it. Too many raids, it sucked wanting to do megas because they're at a very specific time and barely spawn, said Ivan V6. Again, same feedback. Overall fine, but the Spin X different Pokestops research is incredibly alienating, said Mean Durfee 9366. So this is actually something I kind of agreed with, where like there was a research where I think you had to spin 26 unique Pokestops. Generally, it's not too hard for people to do that. But think about it. If you're in a rural area and 26 unique Pokestops, like that's you driving for like 2 hours to hit all those, it's a little bit annoying, especially because this is like a special research story, something that you really want to complete, and you can get yourself a Xerneas or Yveltal with the background. So I think that was annoying. I think it would be better if it was just like spin 26 Pokestops. They can be the same one. I understand why they do it, because they want people like moving around, but maybe 26 is just like too high of a number. Maybe 10. I feel like most people have at least 10 Pokestops in the rural area that they can reach. Biggest issue was not being able to do the raids we wanted to. An entire hour would go by without a single mega. So, says Mapel word order. Some of y'all usernames are crazy, bro. So yeah, again, same thing. Too many raids going down. You couldn't find what you wanted. As a rural player, I didn't like it. Forced to spend money. Ways to give the rural players a middle finger. Said Vinyl Scratch. So again, we talked about this, but like, yeah, like there was no free raid passes. You pretty much needed money to take advantage of the raiding during this event. Jelaya said, the stupid pumpkin everywhere annoying me. What's the stupid pumpkin? Is that a raid boss? Are you talking about Victory Bell? Is Victory Bell the pumpkin? Penguin said Road to Kalos was better than the actual event. Pointed out said Road to Kalos was better as well. Juan Jr. said the worst tour ever. Dat Boyd said the event was trash. Shiny rate was way lower than it should have been. Yeah, way lower. It wouldn't be high, right? Yeah, you're right. Super Skoliner said spawns were dog, bad word. Gary Howden said ripoff. Videoist said legitimately the worst event I've ever played. Okay, that's a crazy thing to say. I feel like there's been worse events than this. And Charlie Kruger said not a single super mega raid in my area, more than somewhat disappointed. Interesting. I feel like people would have struggled to find the non-super mega raids, because I feel like the super mega raids were really boosted. But yeah. So yeah, overall, that was kind of the feedback I got. I kind of grouped up the comments I got into kind of some points. So the overall sentiments, the Road to Kalos tour, everyone thought was better. I think this was clear going into the event. The raids were frustrating, the new raid system, and the fact that people were losing raid passes and people weren't bringing in Mega Boost. Shiny rates were bad. The ticket didn't really feel worth it because you just didn't get those free raid passes. Too many raid bosses at once. The event was chaotic. And yeah, overall, I think there are some people that enjoyed it, but I think long-term, I guess the best way to put it is like raiders, long-term players, rural players are the people who are probably the most frustrated. I think newer players, I don't know, it's kind of weird because like I think as a newer player, you're just coming into the game and everything is a positive, I guess. Because you don't really, I don't want to say you don't have an opinion yet, but it's kind of hard to have an opinion when you just started doing something. I don't know if that's unfair to say. Maybe it's unfair to say, but like think about like a baby, right? They don't really have an opinion. Everything is kind of just like, oh, this is great. This is great. This is just positive. Oh, I get to sit in this chair. That's so cool. I get to eat this food. This is so nice. And like I think you maybe get opinions. Like I guess when you're eating a food you don't like you'll say it. But like I don't know. Maybe I'm just going off on a random tangent and I don't really know what I'm saying. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the newer players seem to enjoy the event because this was arguably an amazing event to fill your mega decks. You could get every single mega in 2 days. You could get so many different shinies. You could get so many different Pokemon in your Pokedex. Like overall, if you're a new trainer, like there's not much to complain about. I guess the fact that we don't get free raid passes, but I don't know. Overall, that's kind of it. If you guys have any feedback for the event, again, join the Discord, go to the Pogo feedback channel, or drop your thoughts in the comments as well. I probably won't individually go through the comments and pass on the feedback because it's just going to take too long. It's nice to have it all in one place. So if you actually have actionable feedback, drop it. But if not, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the video. Overall, I will still say the Kalos tour, it was not, I think it was the worst tour yet, but I don't think it was the worst event yet. I think, honestly, in terms of event, putting on a scale, like the Kalos tour would still be in the A tier. It was still a great, amazing event. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the event. I'm excited to see where Pokemon Go goes next. They're already promoting Go Fest, so it looks like we're already on to the next. We're already on to the next thing, which is fine. I like that the flow of the 30th anniversary is going well, and I'm really just trying to be present and enjoying this year because I think this year is very special for Pokemon. 10 years of Pokemon Go, 30 years of Pokemon. We just need to make the most of it because before we know it, it's going to be gone and we'll be in the 11th year, which will be still good, but you know, obviously the 10-year is going to be crazy. So anyway, if you guys are interested in coming on a group trip, especially for the 10-year anniversary, we're going to be trying to get there in November. Join the waitlist below. I'm going to be dropping the next group trip hopefully soon. We're trying to nail out and sketch out some details, but hopefully soon, and then you guys can get early access and find out if you're actually able to go, if you're actually able to get the time off and come on the group trip in November, because I would love to have you. I would love to have you. That's all I got to say. We'll catch you guys all, I guess, next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another YAP session. I don't know what we'll be talking about. We'll probably be talking about this event that's going down this weekend with the Wild Legendaries, because that thing is about to be crazy. But actually, I guess one thing I can mention here for anyone who's still here listening, if you have things that you want me to yap about, feel free to DM me on Instagram or Twitter, or even drop it as a comment section in the comment section below and be like, hey, could you make a YAP session on this or that? Because, like, I don't know. I'm always interested to see what you guys want to hear. And I feel like I've done so many YAP sessions now. This is like episode almost, I think we're on episode 70 now, that either it's time to start revisiting topics or coming up with like a wider scale of ideas, I guess. But nonetheless, we'll see you guys all next Friday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Catch y'all next one. Fall for tips. Peace.